At the same time, how many people in mainstream politics talk like this now across the West? So let's listen to this guy talk.
But I want to know how it is you voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive. Is that so strange? We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore.
I grew up in this country as a minority, as the children of immigrants. I was their first child born in America. And while I didn't have much possession or didn't much control, I really enjoyed myself. And I think that if you ask a lot of Americans, they would say that I had a lot to offer this country. You know, according to you, I guess I would be perpetuating the dispossession of white America.
That is true. That is true.
Would you say that you wouldn't want me in this country?
At some point, when my ancestors built this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider it, you keep saying your ancestors built this country, you consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans, Chinese people who came and built the railroads.
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian people?
But they're Europeans, aren't they?
So the point of showing you that video isn't to talk about that. I mean, we can talk about it a tiny bit. The the utter incoherence of fascism is that he's talking about when my ancestors built this country, then he's talking about the Italians. He's like, oh yeah, but they're European. So it's like, yeah, the group, you know, do you not remember that the English and Germans used to be racist to the Italians and Irish and Greeks and Mediterranean Europeans? Oh, you don't remember that? Because yeah, it's just about whiteness in this video. But why even show this is we've all heard this, right? But this used to be fringe. This used to be fringe, and even people saying it in this setting, it feels like it wouldn't really happen. For this like video, I guess it's like about a Trump supporter and a Democrat talking, but that used to be seen. Oh my God, if someone said that, great replacement theory. Oh my God, the alt-right, this fringe conspiracy theory. I've heard Donald Trump say this. I've heard Elon Musk say this. I've heard Tory politicians talk about this. I've heard loads of European intellectuals, supposed intellectuals, talk about this, especially in regards to refugees from North Africa and the Middle East. This is such a normal position. And although what he's saying, you could maybe view as a tiny bit more fringe in that he's focusing mostly on the white aspect. And the only thing I would challenge about this being insanely normalized is the white aspect is often changed now for the Western aspect. Although it is heavily still considered like a white thing, now we're seeing in multiple countries, it's about Western chauvinism generally. So in the UK, you often have a lot of South Asians, Indians, for example, like Rishi Sunak and a lot of members of the cabinet. They're getting on board with, oh my God, Muslim refugees come over here, they don't understand British values, and they're destroying the UK. It's similar rhetoric to what this guy is saying, but at the same time, it's changed for 2024, where there is more diversity in the UK, diversity in conservative movements. So they're like, actually, no, we aren't like just focused on the white aspect. It's about the values. But we all know, that is heavily tied up in the white aspect anyway. But you're hearing this rhetoric so much when it comes to refugees and mostly Muslims. And why that's interesting what he's saying is he's still coming at it from the real fascist angle, like the traditional fascist angle. But that rhetoric is not too different from what we see with language around Palestinians, language around refugees from Middle Eastern and North African countries. And we hear this said by Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and it's all about how European, Western, American culture is being destroyed by foreign hordes. And this isn't anything new. This has been used against like any migrant group I spoke about in my videos yesterday. I'd known, actually, maybe this video hasn't gone out yet, but about Irish people in my family who are migrants who've been demonized. And even then, some of them turn around and start being anti-migrant to other groups. And broadly, it's just the shift we have seen since 2015. That is what John Tron said to Destiny in, was it 2018 or 2017? Maybe it's 2017. And it caused a shitstorm. If someone said this today, if Asmongold said this today, no one would care. In fact, he actually said something similar and he got a 2-week ban and now he's back. Because the whole culture now online as well is dominated by people who do not consider themselves fascists, but what they talk about politically is fascist. Like what Asmongold was saying the other day about Palestinians is fundamentally fascist. What so many of these streamers say is fascist. I've been calling conservatives fascists for a long time. I made videos about Matt Walsh, about people, who's the other guy, the Italian guy, Michael Knowles, praising Franco, doesn't even make an impact on anything. That someone at the Daily Wire is praising Franco. And now it just doesn't fucking matter. Everything is fascist. Everything is fascist, and that includes the Democratic Party as well. And I'm not saying they're ideologically fascist, but when the whole Overton window is shifting into fascist territory, this is what we're getting. And to underpin all this, why is it happening? And why is it being allowed to happen? And it's because Western capitalism and neoliberalism has failed so many people, has failed us generally. So wages stagnate, jobs go overseas, devastating communities. That goes back to like Margaret Thatcher and Reagan. And people just don't have opportunity. Corporations buying up all the housing. Literally, people cannot live a life that their parents and grandparents lived, despite being more educated, despite having more skills, despite even sometimes making more money in theory. There is no opportunity. And when there's no opportunity, people are looking for people who will tell them that they will make their lives better. And what they're doing in Europe, the capitalist class, is they're not even trying this. They're deflecting. They're not saying, I'm going to make your life better. They're focusing on, oh my God, your life is actually bad because of refugees and migrants. And we must protect sacred Western values from these refugees. And we all agree on tolerance and secularism, apparently, and these people coming over, they do not agree with that, and that's the root of our problems. And yeah, because of all, you know, also at a time of insane social media, misinformation and everything, it just rots people's brains. So it's like a perfect storm at the moment of everything: poor economy, capitalism in decline, social media rotting everyone's brains. That just makes everything so fascist. Even if people aren't ideologically fascist themselves, their opinions are increasingly getting far right. And we see that across the Western political spectrum, where in the UK, both parties subscribe in many ways to far ideologies when it comes to things like refugees and immigration. Both subscribe to similar economic beliefs as well. Both support what Israel are doing without question, pretty much. And basically what the West have decided is Palestinians and Muslims are a sacrificial lamb that you can just demonize instead of addressing the root causes of the capitalist economy, because of course the elites have a vested interest in keeping that going for as long as possible. So if you're like wondering how something like what this guy said maybe 9 years ago would ruin his life and would ruin most people's lives who even said this on social media, to becoming so insanely normalised, you hear most politicians in most countries say something like this, and sometimes they're in mainstream political parties. It's because of the reasons I said. Is there a way out of this?
I mean, the advantage now.
Yeah, and there are countries where there is a significant opposition to this. So if, you know, I said I wasn't going to talk about Latin America. In Latin America, their elections pretty much, here is a guy whose granddad was a German fascist who migrated after World War II, and here is a guy who's a socialist trade unionist. In Latin America, that is the division, but what we're seeing, at least there with most countries, not Argentina, is a significant, you know, left-wing surge. So they're obviously, thankfully, in those countries, choosing left-wing, especially economic populism, but also a lot of the times it goes along with more progressive social values. Like Cuba has better LGBT rights enshrined in law than the United States broadly, and most of the world broadly. So it's not one or the other for these groups, which is a nice thing to see. But this is why the West is going fully mask off fash, and I think it will get worse before it gets any better.
Yesterday was a very difficult show. We're going to try to strike a tone today that's about moving forward, even though I think it's a different reaction to 2016 because I think people were surprised and shocked and angered. And this time it's more just resignation and depression about where we truly are.
I am a little bit in a different place, whereas I think this is the pattern that people pointed to after 2016 and were ignored. The amount of people who said, Tara Raghavir, who is of Casey Tenants, tweeted out retweeted herself from 2022 saying, hey, if addressing inflation isn't enough if you don't do something about, say, rent prices and things like that. And instead we just decided to run a status quo presidency, and I don't know. It's time to kick a lot of these bums out that ran this campaign.
Yep. It's there will be a lot of autopsies done about what happened in this race. I think the primary narrative that we're seeing is the economy. A lot of elite media folks told people that the economy was doing amazing, and for people trading on Wall Street, there were the traditional capitalist measures of how the economy was doing did indicate that the economy was doing well. But for people who have to pay rent, for people who have to pay groceries, they were furious at the administration. And can you pop up this graph here? This is really instructive because once basically the Republicans took back the House and the COVID recovery was abandoned by the administration, you see this drop off here. Build Back Better being the central vision of the platform to start from 2020 into the beginning of 2022, and then of course Manchin and Sinema torpedoed much of it. But once again the more austerity politics took hold and Biden tried to fashion himself as a modern LBJ by also supporting a disastrous foreign policy, bloody endeavor, and bloating the Pentagon budget both for Ukraine but also to support Israel, things turned, and the child tax credit expired.
Inflation concern, and they decided, Biden, again, this chat is in emphases. He goes from emphasizing Build Back Better to national debt and deficit reduction. And how do we reduce that deficit, so-called? It was by not pursuing, say, or locking in the expanded child tax credit that halved child poverty. So guess what happened to child poverty when it expired? It doubled.
It doubled, and then we were told all the time about how good the economy is doing, and that's going to be, I think, the main story, and it's part of the anti-incumbency backlash that you're seeing globally, and it's a failure of liberalism. And Harris took over an incumbent campaign, was shoehorned into it because Biden dropped out at the 11th hour, and she ran with his consultants. Who knows if she had actually run in a legitimate primary and there had been other candidates, like if Biden had done what he promised, that he would be a bridge candidate, what could have happened? There could have been a primary where people even knew who she was. I mean, you would be shocked. There are millions of Americans that have no idea who Kamala Harris is. And
the ones who do, can they say what she was actually running for besides not being Trump?
And so she was extremely disadvantaged in that way. And in the primary, she still would have been the favorite, right? But she would have had to develop a vision outside of continuing the Biden administration, which was unpopular. And that was the biggest problem, it appears, thus far in this race. You know, and I will reiterate this. It's not something I think people love to hear, but I just feel it in my bones. Like, there was misogyny at play here as well. I don't know how we can say that the Trump campaign that was cheering on calling her a C word with their super PAC ads, and Trump laughing in the final days about how Kamala worked on a corner, to discount the role that misogyny played here, especially when she had higher favorables than someone like Hillary Clinton, you begin to see a bit of a through line. And it could have been different if Biden was more popular, right? In the way that AMLO is with Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico. Him leaving with a 60% approval rating and having a more popular agenda and handing it off to a woman as a successor, that advantaged her in that situation. Kamala was carrying the baggage of a really unpopular administration, and I think that opened a lot of the door for this misogyny. And what concerns me is definitely also what you see with men 18 to 29 who seem to be really buying into this. And we've been sounding the alarm about this on this program for a while. The manosphere, the edgelord stuff, and this is an entirely different media and communications environment that the Democrats need to reckon with here. You know, as I said, her turnout her door knocking operation, she went to all the swing states, which Hillary did, blanketed them. Her turnout, her ground game by every traditional metric was way superior to his. And it didn't matter because Trump was going on podcasts and he appealed and turned out those mid to low propensity voters. And the suburbs did not turn out for Kamala Harris. So the strategy just was completely wrong. And at the end of the day, let's play this clip from Stead. I always forget his last name. Herndon. He is a New York Times reporter, and he has been covering this race by going around the country and actually talking to people. This was his assessment, and I just thought it was exactly right.
The biggest character in this race, to me, was not on the ballot in 2020. It was Joe Biden, in my opinion. Like, Joe Biden's refusal to do what he implied he would do in 2020 and transition to a different type of generation, allow Democrats to have a broader conversation about change, allow Democrats to be freed from the status quo, is not what happened. I think it would be easier for me to say that Donald Trump completed this mass realignment among the working class if we had a universe where the Democrats had a primary, where the Democrats nominated a candidate that was based around some set of ideas, and it was not tied to this administration so clearly and the status quo. But since that is not what happened, I think it has made the Republican ability to be the agents of change so much easier that I find it the biggest thing that has happened in this race. And I think speaks to what we're saying about what's happened over the last 3 months. The place that they were in before the candidate switch happened made it such that you could run a perfect race or whatever, and you are still playing on ground that brings you to 50-50. Because the biggest thing, in my opinion, that happened was they tied themselves to an unpopular administration, and with it, the status quo.
That did not represent you.
And there was a lot of evidence that that was a bad idea.
So when we talk about the moments, the hinge points, and again, I don't know what could have changed. I agree with his analysis. Her not distancing herself from Biden on a number of issues is going to be discussed. But was it even possible in 100-ish days as the VP to do that? I don't know. But what I do know is that Biden here walked us with his hubris into a second Trump administration. Let's read some of these quotes from Democrats in Politico raging at Biden. He shouldn't have run, said Jim Manley, a top aide to former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. This is no time to pull punches or be concerned about anyone's feelings. He and his staff have done an enormous amount of damage to this country. According to interviews with nearly a dozen officials and party operatives, Biden squandered valuable months only to end in disaster on the debate stage. And by the time he decided to pass the torch, he had saddled Harris with too many challenges and far too little time to build a winning case for herself. The fresh anger at Biden came as Democrats devolved into a round of recriminations following Tuesday's decisive loss to Donald Trump, with officials struggling to explain why a majority of the electorate voted Republican for the first time in 20 years. Democratic leaders had hoped Harris could separate herself from Biden's deficiencies after taking over the nomination with just 107 days to the election. The candidate switch in July generated a fresh surge of enthusiasm with voters and appeared to instantly reset the race, bolstering the theory that she could eke out a win against an opponent as divisive as Trump. But any gains made during her abridged campaign were swamped on Tuesday by the enduring backlash against the Biden administration over inflation and cost of living concerns, and a president who proved incapable of selling the electorate on his accomplishments, and whose apparent overconfidence kept him in the campaign despite growing signs that he wasn't up for the job. She ran an extraordinary campaign with a very tough hand that was handed to her. Mark Longabaugh, the Democratic strategist and former advisor to Senator Bernie Sanders, said of Harris, "The truth of the matter is Biden should have stepped aside earlier and let the party put together a longer game plan." I mean, hey, like, you know, Bernie was trying to get him to stay in, so that's an older advisor of Bernie Sanders. I disagreed with what Bernie was doing then. But the die, as it appears, it probably was already cast by that point. Now, let's play another clip of Ested, who went on, Ested Herndon, who went on Christiane Amanpour's show. I guess this is a guest host. And he was asked about the abortion issue in particular. As I mentioned, abortion measures did fairly well across the country, but that did not translate to the federal level or to creating the urgency for these white women, who a majority of them voted for Trump again. A person who has been found liable for sexual abuse, accused of sexual assault and rape dozens of times. This is what Herndon says he observed on the campaign trail as it relates to the issue of abortion.
We're literally on the ballot in multiple states. This was supposed to be the issue that galvanized so many people on the left. Did that pan out?
Well, I think we can definitely say that reproductive rights was not prioritized above other issues. And I don't think it's really a question of the left. What we see is that reproductive rights was meant to try to cut through, I think, particularly in the suburbs, so particularly give people a permission structure to vote for Harris, and then try to cast Donald Trump and Republicans largely as extreme. But one of the things that was true throughout kind of our travels is that people understood that Donald Trump had a different position on abortion rights than the rest of the party. And they would cite that often as a reason why they could support some abortion rights, and they did not think Donald Trump was like an existential threat to that freedom, and still support him at the top of the ticket. And I think we saw some of that yesterday. I don't think it's it that the special elections that we saw from Democrats over the past 2 years were false or some mirage or something, but that the composition of people who vote in the presidential election are just prioritizing that top of the ballot over everything else. And frankly, the Democratic argument that abortion rights would outdo the economy, would overcome inflation, would overcome people's concerns about immigration. That clearly did not pan out to be true. And so I think it's going to be interesting where both parties kind of go next here too, because Donald Trump may have kind of flirted with a different abortion position than the rest of the party, but his ecosystem is still very anti-abortion in a way that's pretty outside of the median voter in the country. So I think both sides kind of an open question what to do going forward. But Democrats thought it was a kind of secret electoral sauce that it didn't turn out to be.
Well, let's talk about
it didn't turn out that way.
It's a massive crime that they depended on it to be that. And they squandered what should have been a headwind to get people out to the polls, to get further progress on other issues. And they used it to say, oh, maybe we have more leeway to support Israel because our base is going to turn out for this stuff anyway. Like, this is a conscious failure. When they say they expect it to be a secret sauce, that is criminal malpractice. And they blew rights for people.
They did, and they also, I mean, with the people not believing that Trump was extreme on abortion. This is what Matt's saying though. Like, we couldn't rely on that, because if that's what people still think, like, you can't make an argument that Harris Parson Walls didn't message the abortion issue. You can't. Like, they focused on it a lot. That wasn't the problem. People
Tune in like that.
Trump is for everything about his unfavorability, for his crudeness, for his criminality, for all of this. Still, people think he's less extreme on this issue than the Republicans. This is not a mandate for the Republican vision. This is an indictment on the Democrats, and we're gonna have a lot of conversations about the future. And it's not one factor, but the lack of recognition as to what the economy really meant for people on a day-to-day basis, I think, is the driving narrative at this particular point. And, you know, you can say, like, yes, Biden was the most pro-labor president in decades, but he was unable to communicate. And the Democrats didn't communicate that. And this is what happens. So you can't just be like, well, look at the numbers, look at all of this, look at how Biden, you know, supported X and the UAW or whatever. If it's not penetrating, then it doesn't matter.
And if, I'm sorry, like, the actual numbers are that, okay, we had a little bit of wage growth and some policy that counteracts, we've had, since 2008, just a collapse of, I mean, the middle class that the Democrats campaigned for so much. Like, it's not going to take, it's going to take more than a little bit of wage growth for a certain sector of the economy, while everything else is going up too. And the insanity that something like the child tax credit could expire, and we're still telling people that the economy is fine. Look at the unemployment numbers, look at GDP growth relative to the G7. That just tells me that those people don't actually know somebody who, like, experiences poverty. And that's the problem. Well,
I mean, if I see one more liberal account scolding people for not having their opinion of what the economy looks like, I'm gonna scream. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
then don't be in politics if you're not in the persuasion business. Like, I feel despondent about the misogyny element of it. I really do, and I will see, like, how I feel in a week. But still, like, that could have been overcome if Biden, if the circumstances were a little bit different. I don't think it could have been overcome in 107 days. If we look at this now, Biden had to have dropped out earlier so we could have had a primary process where these really important issues for people on a day-to-day basis could have been articulated. And that could have brought attention to the party as a contrast to Donald Trump blowing microphones and calling Kamala a cunt. So, like, that, you know...
We give the credibility of, like, they blow credibility when they say the economy's good, and then you wonder why people aren't getting the full message. And people still turn down, like, on the abortion question on ballot lines for it, right? And it's just they don't trust Democrats. That's the problem here. There's a drag there. And, like, Terry, I'll give you one final point of Casey Tenets. There's the economy according to suits with elite degrees, and there's the economy according to working people who can't afford their rent or groceries. The first group calls the shots with fundamentally lacks knowledge or curiosity about the second group.
At the end of the day, it's most likely, when we look back on this, that escaping the shadow of Biden's unpopularity was quite difficult, and she was also unwilling to do that because of a very conservative, small C strategy, although the entire thing was also appeals to Republicans, and none of that panned out in the suburbs. There needs to be a reimagination of how the Democrats run these national campaigns, but we said that after 2016.
Well, Bernie had the sauce, and they suppressed it. I mean, I agree with Crystal Ball on this. Like, all these groups that we're worried about that are leaving the Democrats now, working class groups, Bernie, like Latinos, Bernie was turning them out, and they suppressed him twice, called him sexist ahead of the Iowa primaries 2 straight times.
Yeah, and so, and that was Obama also, those kinds of politics. So we, to be clear-eyed going forward, we have to extricate that vision from the party.
We know the model.
We know the model. And now it's time to get to work.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Drop care package on my beacon.
Losing B.
some typically means winning with others and vice versa. Losing big with everyone across the board is nearly unprecedented and hard to conceive as even possible. Kamala Harris lost with every constituency, except for plus 65-year-olds and white college women. Red wave is an understatement. Wait, have you already addressed the 20 million less voters? It genuinely confuses me. Were people just not motivated to vote? Why is that confusing? There were two major reasons for why this happened, and I told you it was going to be depressed voter turnout regardless, because 2020 was unique because of COVID. You had universal early voting, mail-in ballots. It was much easier to vote. That's why Donald Trump made tremendous gains on his side, even though he lost, because Joe Biden had even bigger gains, right? But one of the major problems with the Kamala Harris campaign is that she is slated to lose 10 to 15 million voters overall, whereas Donald Trump only lost around 3 million voters from his number in 2020.
As Lisa, you just pointed out, Democrats had long believed we're going to remain loyal to them.
But why?
But why?
Why? Why did they believe that? That evidence has been clear about the drop-off for a long time, right? Like, we've had 2012, we've had 2016, we've had 2020. Like, we've actually had a lot of evidence to say that the demographic destiny undertone is one that is a faulty premise. The fact that they're holding on to the Obama era, in my opinion, is a racist assumption.
Yeah. 100%. The idea that like the demographics is destiny is the age-old adage that like both parties have deluded themselves into believing. Republicans believe it offensively, where they say, "Oh, you want Mexicans to go and live in swing states, so they vote Democrat," right? And you have that exact same principle on the Democratic Party side, where it's like, "Come on, Latinos, vote for us. The other side is racist," and they're still running that route, not realizing that like a lot of the Hispanic population in the United States of America see themselves as white. They are firmly within the white category. They might not look white, but they vote white in increasingly larger numbers. There is no like demographics of destiny. That's why I always laugh when Republicans are like, "Oh, immigrants are coming over the border to vote Democrat." I'm like, what are you talking about? Look at Texas. Part of that is because Latino voters in Texas, and there's so much polling on this. Latino voters in the state of Texas, Hispanic voters in the state of Texas, like social safety nets. They like it across the board. Even older Latino voters want more government spending. Plenty of them have revolutionary backgrounds from the countries they came from. They're union organizers. They have a leftist slant on fiscal policy, on issues that pertain to the economy. On the other hand, they also sometimes happen to be more socially conservative. So if one party, the Republican Party, just says, yeah, we're not going to do anything on the fiscal policy front, but we'll ham on the social conservatism, and the other party doesn't do a single damn thing about it at all and just simply goes harm reduction, harm reduction, harm reduction. Those guys are racist. They'll be racist to you. Vote for us. That has been a demonstrable failure for the Latino voters in Texas. And that has always been a failure. This is why I always have hyper-focused on the Texas Latino GOP outreach. The Republican Party has nationalized that at this point. If one side is saying, hey, you don't like abortion, you don't like the gay stuff, okay, I got you. Yeah, we'll f them up. And the other side is basically saying, no, you don't understand. These guys are racist. Don't vote for them. Please vote for us instead. Without offering this base of support any reliable ways of improving their material conditions, looking at what they're hurting on and saying, I got you. I'm going to do more social safety nets for you. Okay, I'm going to do it for everybody, and you're going to benefit from it. Then yeah, slowly but surely, Republicans are going to pick apart that base. And they have. They did it so successfully in the state of Texas. And now they're doing it everywhere else. To simply say, oh, it's because these guys are just uneducated. That's not enough. To simply state like, oh, these guys are just like too stupid. That's not enough. That's dumb. You don't win elections that way, right? You don't. Everyone's stupid. We're in America, okay? I'm stupid. We're all stupid. But we all vote. Democrats picking Joe Biden over Bernie Sanders in 2020 when a map of donations looked like this is what guaranteed a Trump win in 2024. I mean, yeah, that too. I don't know how you see this and think the answer is she didn't run left enough. Let me address that real quick, actually. This is important for people to understand. When you look at this and you think, oh my God, the broader electorate has shifted right, you are not understanding that there are tens of millions of voters that voted in the prior election for the Democratic Party that is just simply sitting this one out. They felt like they were written off. They just didn't vote. The campaign didn't reach them. The campaign abandoned them. Sometimes openly said, we don't want you. We want Liz Cheney. We want the suburbs. You have to understand. That's why it looks this way. This is simply an abject failure of the Democratic Party. That's all this shows. Yeah, this can be very misleading. Yusuf Munayr, poli-sci PhD, says, the shift isn't about Trump growing his totals as much as the fact that some 15 million people who voted for Biden in 2020 didn't vote this time. About 155 million votes were cast in 2020, 137 million in 2024. Where did they go and why? Even in the Biden race, the problem was that Biden should have had a larger victory. But he also did not go far enough in terms of activating people, in terms of motivating people. I remember I covered it. He barely eked out a victory with 42,000 votes overall. I explained it. I said, if the base doesn't hold out in Philadelphia, in the urban areas, young voters, black voters, brown voters from across the spectrum, she made no outward communication to these constituents. She just took them for granted. She was like, oh, we have it locked down. She will lose. And that's precisely what happened. So if I can see it and I'm a fucking idiot, then how can the Democrats not see it? Are they this blinded? I go back and forth on this because sometimes I think they are just like beholden to corporate interests and whatnot. And then other times I talk to actual campaign staff. I talk to people that work in the DC bubble. And then I realize is that no, they are just blinded. It's not all just ideological purity and loyalty to like third way neoliberalism across the board. It's not just about being completely captured by corporate interests. I think that plays a role, but that plays a role in the bubble. Keela Lacey says, Trump didn't win Pennsylvania, Harris lost it. The consensus from voters and organizers I talked to this week is clear. Democrats have abandoned working class voters and it's costing them their political lives. It's class war. The focus on minority support for Trump ignores Dems leaving voters on the table. When black people are showing up for Dems, it isn't with unbridled support and unquestioning support. Maurice from Working Families Party said, Maurice Mo Mitchell, progressives and independents are the ones courting those voters, not Dems. I want more black voters asking questions in the political parties, recognizing that there is a larger and larger component of the black electorate that is persuadable. The more we move away, because that's just the passage of time, from the last time that the Democratic Party actually expended social and political capital to defend black people, the more younger black people are open to be convinced by the Republican Party. And it's even then, it's going to be by slim margins, but the fact that it even exists is specifically because the Democrats are not offering anything. And I don't mean offering something purely on racial boundaries, by the way. The civil rights movement is one thing. But even like offering things to young black men that you could offer to young men all across America and to young women as well. This requires you to have universality in mind when you legislate. Yep, time to break from the left. Next time, Dems should try saying they'll do more crackdown on immigration than Republicans. Instead of defund the police, run a prosecutor. Talk about having a gun, wanting a strong military instead of your identity. Just some ideas. More ideas of how Dems should pivot to the middle in the wake of this loss. Offer to put a Republican in your cabinet. Find Republicans willing to be your surrogates and make them major parts of the campaign. Talk up how much you agree with Republicans on the issue in debates. If you do wind up proposing a policy like capital gains tax increase, make sure that you propose a hike smaller than proposals from other leading Democrats. Avoid making substantive concessions to the activist left on Israel. In fact, reassert Israel's right to defend itself. I guess at the end of the day, I just wish Harris hadn't said Latinx so much. What was also so nutty about it was Kamala Harris had ran against all of this in 2019 when the Democratic Party was worried about a Bernie Sanders victory in the primaries. Tom Suozzi, who scraped by Tuesday, Democrats have to stop pandering to the far left. I don't want to discriminate against anybody, but I don't think biological boys should be playing in girls' sports. He added, Democrats aren't saying that, and they should be. Yeah, no, that's the resounding message here. Dude, there are no more minorities left to shit on, brother. At that point, there is like no one left. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's your takeaway from this, is the trans people thing. Like they are, I'm sorry, dude. By the way, I told this to my trans community already, that they were going to do this inevitably. when you don't want to take a look at the larger problem within the party, when you don't want to question your ideological commitment to just refusing to even recognize material solutions to people's problems in the form of progressive economic policy, populist economic policy, if you are choosing to officially not look at that at all, then you don't have any avenues left. They're just going down the carousel. They're literally going off the one marginalized group after the other. They're like, okay, let's cast aside immigrants. Okay, f them. YOLO. We did that this election. Wasn't enough. Must be the trans people. F them too. It's so stupid when you have incredibly popular governors in red states that are unequivocally pro-trans rights that just say, no, this shit sucks. Don't even bring it up. I don't care. They're your neighbors. They're our children too. They're God's children. Fuck you. Stay out of their own damn business. Mind your business. The consulting class needs to be completely ripped apart and rebuilt. They are far too invested in certain narratives that they believe. Is wild that they believe children's sport is a top concern for voters. I know. They see one messaging poll and they go, oh, that's it. We got to kill trans people. But they did that shit with undocumented immigrants too. They don't look at the second thing that's polled in any of those messaging polls. That's what's so frustrating about it. They see the headline. The headline says 60% of Americans want mass deportation. They go, oh my God, we got to do mass deportation. They never look at the second fucking line right underneath it that says 64% of Americans want conditional amnesty for all migrants. They never look at that. They look at 60% of Americans think that trans women should not participate in sports alongside cis women, right? They never look at the second line in that goddamn same exact poll that says 64% of Americans believe trans people are disproportionately targeted. There's a lot of bigotry towards trans people. They never do that. When they don't look at the second line on those polls and they only respond to the first line, they end up normalizing this position amongst their own base. They start scaring their base into believing that, yeah, we got to go more right wing. We got to go more right wing. You're playing on enemy territory for no reason. Launch a counterattack instead of going into your enemy's waters and trying to beat them at their own game. You'll never win there. Yeah, I saw this. Blue and on. The 20 million Democrat voters that disappeared from 2020 to 2024 is what doesn't add up. Like, they just don't understand that, one, this is like what you think was a good campaign because you watch MSNBC and MSNBC tells you is a good campaign is not how other people outside of your bubble is responding to this. Yes, turnout on the Democratic front was significantly lower than past performance. Part of that was because of COVID in 2020, universal ballots, universal mail-in ballots. But the other part of it was a shitty campaign that hyper-focused on Liz Cheney. I told you this over and over again. Now motherfuckers are saying hindsight. Well, some people are not even saying hindsight. They're just literally refusing to reckon with that reality. That's why they're doing this like crazy QAnon shit. Yeah, white men without college degrees are going to ruin this country. Genuinely, if you're a political professional or a strategist and this kind of thing is all you have to offer today, give up. Do something else. You're not interested in winning. And it's whatever. Politics isn't for everybody. That's fine. Other folks can take it from here. Like, white men without college degrees is a hotbed for reactionary sentiment. But if you are a Dem strategist, if you're a political operative like Ali Samarco is, you can't say that. You need to address that. You need to literally actively work to separate these young white men from reactionary politics. You need to look at it and go, what is the problem here? How is this happening? How do we fix it? How do we bring them back to the Democratic Party's coalition? How do we make a case that we are interested in their best interest? We're there with them. We see them. We recognize that they are experiencing pain and maybe a sense of entitlement certainly as well. But like, how do we make a convincing argument? How do we make a convincing argument that causes people to change their position? Men without college degrees are the ones fixing her roads and installing her new plumbing. I mean, there's that aspect of it too. Yeah, this is funny. Brian Grimm, I am not a flawed writer. Y'all are flawed readers. Do better. It is important that nothing be learned from this. Kamala Harris is not a flawed candidate. America is a flawed country. 62,000 likes. Democrats need to snap out of this weirdo behavior, man. You cannot run a campaign like this. What the is going on, man? They just immediately went back to the Hillary Clinton route after 2016 and just went, is it us that's wrong? Nah, it's the voters. The do you mean it's the voters? You're supposed to win their vote, dumbass. Your job is to win their vote. Why else are you tacking to the right? Because you thought that that was going to win their votes. It didn't. Tack to the left now. Except for many people who are, for example, like Ali Samarco, they're former Republicans. And when they're former Republicans that are now working for the Democratic Party, feels like they, didn't fully transition to the Democratic Party, or the values of the Democratic Party's base demands from the Democratic Party politicians. So they just kind of motivate the Democratic Party in the direction that they think is good. Why is it? And I wonder, I ask this all the time. Why is it that every single prominent commentator on CNN and MSNBC is a former Republican? Half of these people are Bush-era communications directors. The fuck? Nobody is saying that America is not a sexist or racist nation. It would be delusional to say such a thing. I don't agree with the sentiment that America is not a racist or sexist nation. Of course it is. So what's the solution? We just don't have any black women in power? What the fuck? I don't give a fuck what someone's background is. I care about their policies. I said this years ago, and I've repeated it time and time again. Diversity politics for the sake of diversity in and of itself, or representational politics for the sake of representation without addressing any of the other underlying circumstances is silly. It's nothing. Usually, you want a black person in a position of power because of all of the lived experience that they've had and the personal understanding that they have of white supremacy and its most nefarious ways in which, or its insidious ways in which it dominates people's lives without people even recognizing it. You don't just want a black person in power because they're black. If that was the case, Candace Owens would be woke, okay? That's not how this works. I said this in 2019. Trump has a chance of defeating Joe Biden, but worse than that, even if Joe Biden wins, I think we go back to business as usual politics here in America. And next time around, it's not going to be Donald Trump. It's actually going to be an ideologically minded fascist, not a proto-fascist who kind of succeeded somehow and fooled Americans for long enough to get into a position of power, but an actual terrifying leader. Oh my goodness. In this situation, I was, I was right, but I didn't think that Donald Trump would run again after losing, and then become the actual ideological fascist that he actually is now, surrounded by sycophants too. What is this? Atlanta Journal-Constitution update. Several of the migrants I've been speaking with say they would have voted for Trump themselves. Most of the folks who crossed the border illegally in the last 2 to 3 years, they don't believe Trump will deport them because they are here to work and are not criminals. That's the other aspect of this. How many times have I described to you? Americans don't know. They don't understand what the impact of policy is going to look like. They don't know until it happens. Staggering class realignment / shift in working class from Jeff Stein at Washington Post. Harris lost despite major shift of affluent voters her way. Literally what I said about her hemorrhaging the base while simultaneously desperately trying to grab on to as many suburban Hitlerites as possible happened. That's it. The base fell out. The bottom fell. That's what happens when you run around and go, I'm small business. I'm a small business. I love transnational gangs and prosecuting them. I love prosecuting small transnational gangs as a business. What am I going to do for the economy? Oh, don't worry. $50,000 in tax cuts if you want to start a startup. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Talk about how you are going to unleash Lena Khan on price gougers. Talk about how you're going to make the grocery stores scream bloody murder for the crime of price gouging. That's what people wanted. Yeah, this is the chart. She spent months hoarding Republican endorsements, writing the 2016 Clinton strategy to certain defeat. They risked it all to build a centrist party of suburbanites and college kids and lost. It's time to move on, but I don't think the Dems will move with us. Registered Republicans, shockingly, voted for Republicans. Kamala Harris saw Nikki Haley absolutely get demolished in the Republican primary and said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be Nikki Haley, but with a D next to my name. 400,000 likes, by the way. This is not Kamala's fault. She worked her ass off to a beautiful campaign with 100 days she had. She's arguably the most qualified U.S. presidential candidate ever with prior experience in all 3 branches of the government. Americans simply voted against their best interest. Like, I don't disagree with some of the sentiment here, except for the major one, which is, yes, it is her fault. It is always the fault of the campaign. She had $1 billion and she lit it on fire. Shut the f*** up. What do you need? $2 billion? You want $3 billion? Plenty of people are going to look to the results and say, we just didn't go far right enough. That is dumb. That is stupid. You are pushing away your base and you are hemorrhaging support from demographics that literally are anti-establishment and loved Bernie Sanders, okay? This is very important. Key constituencies that loved Bernie Sanders are now completely lost. Young Latino men, young Latino voters in general either don't vote or young Latino men straight up went to the Republican Party. That was the Bernie constituency. Young Arab men and Arab men in general, Arab women in general, either went to the Republican Party, do fucking Gaza shit, or just didn't vote. These are people who were literally the Bernie bros, right? You were so resistant. You kept saying that they were fucking misogynistic, and you pushed them away into either not voting or even going, you know what? I actually wanted healthcare and none of this gay shit. I don't really care about the gay stuff at all, but I just want healthcare, into going, you know what? No one's giving me healthcare, but I still don't want the gay shit. At least this guy is representing the anger that I feel. I cannot comprehend how we have lost so many people. I mean, I can comprehend it. I know exactly how it happened, but I just cannot comprehend how the Democratic Party has not been responsive at all to this depolarization on racial boundaries. And another thing I want to point to, by the way, they charge so much at black people. So much. What do? They were like, oh, there's a big swing for black men towards Donald Trump. What did I tell you? I told you that was going to be marginal in comparison to Latino men and, more importantly, white men without a college degree. White men without a college degree and Latino men without a college degree went by much larger numbers of the Republican Party than black men without a college degree. But that didn't stop the Kamala Harris campaign from activating old Bungler to go out and be like, oh, well, seems like a lot of you black men are a little misogynistic and pussy too. You think that's a good message? Yeah. I'm glad that we spent a whole ordeal centering the narrative around how black people are too misogynistic to vote for a black woman. That was a great media opportunity. Great stuff. I told you that shit was bunk. It was nothing. It was ridiculous to hyper-focus on black men, which was going to be a sliver, much smaller percentage regardless. Despite all that chatter, Trump didn't really gain with black voters nationwide. 86% Harris, 12% Trump. Unchanged from 2020 when 87% of black voters went for Biden and 12% went for Trump. Black men statistic, 78 to 20 in 2024, 79 to 19 in 2020. 1%. It drove discourse for a week. I told you this shit was bunk. It was bullshit. It was just a permission structure for white liberals to just shit on black people again. And that's precisely what the fuck happened. For no reason. It is terrifying to watch the Democratic Party just hemorrhage its fucking base and refuse. Make no mistake, they are the idealists. The liberals at the tippy top of the Democratic Party are ideologically committed to a dead movement. Neoliberalism has failed. Hacking to the right over and over again has failed. And yet, win or lose, they go, we just gotta go to the right. We just gotta get more racist. No lessons learned whatsoever. It does not matter to them. That is why they ran a dogshit campaign, in spite all signs pointing to major flaws. How many times did I show you 30 plus polls that were conducted on separating Kamala Harris from Joe Biden on Gaza and how beneficial that would be? The margin of enthusiasm would make up for the percentage point of loss that Kamala Harris had in every single swing state. Every single one. Just on that issue alone. You lost 0 voters if you changed trajectory on Gaza, and you only stood to gain voters if you changed trajectory. Even on the communications front, it would have been a hard thing to explain to people that you were going to be different than your administration that you're a part of. If Trump wins, there'll be efforts to blame Russian interference, or Harris or Biden, etc. That's all fair, but we need to be clear-eyed that a huge swath of America likes what Trump is selling, transphobia, mass deportation. That's what he ran on, and here we are. No, dude, no. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a reason for this, okay? I'll give you a reason for this. There are tens of thousands of people in this community that voted for Kamala Harris. Do you agree with Kamala Harris's policies across the board? No, of course you don't. Of course you don't. And there are plenty of Republicans that either aren't paying attention or don't give a about any of this shit either. And they just think, oh, he's going to fix the economy. And they're dumb enough to think that that is, you know, going to happen with Donald Trump. That's it. The idea that like everyone is hyper tuned to every single part of the campaign's messaging. And that's what they're so excited to go out and vote for Donald Trump because they all want concentration camps at the border is stupid. It does not track with reality. It does not track with the messaging polls on this. And you'll see it when he starts the mass deportations. You'll see how angry people get because one, what do I always say? Americans don't understand the policies that they're either voting for or just don't think about it at all. They just don't know how bad it's going to be. And that is a flaw on the counter messaging side for the Democratic Party. They never once communicated that all this border shit was bunk, that it was all born out of right-wing panic, hysteria. You think it's an accident that every 2 years, whenever there's a midterm or a general election, there's a caravan? You're an idiot and directly influenced this? That's funny. You're right. Definitely. I directly did this. I'm Kamala Harris, by the way. Guys, I did this. I'm Kamala Harris. I've been working with Kamala Harris. I'm Doug. I'm both of them. I have actually been campaigning with Kamala Harris. I'm the one. I'm sorry. I'm the one who sent Richie Torres to Michigan. I'm the one who told the campaign to send Bill Clinton to Michigan to be like, Judea and Samaria is goated and that, you know, all Arabs deserve to get killed. Honestly, it is what it is. Don't vote for us. We don't want it. My mistake, okay? My mistake. Didn't think that that was going to fail spectacularly. I was the one who said Liz Cheney should be a prominent fixture of the campaign. My bad. I will recognize it and I will own it. I'm sorry. I told the campaign Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney were launching them like missiles into the suburbs. They will be screaming bloody murder. They will be singing the gospel. They will carry the red book. They're all Maoist third worlders now. They're all in the Democratic Party's coalition. They're gonna fucking turn. That was me. That was me. I'm the one who said, do not campaign about any of the economic issues that a ton of Americans are experiencing in a time when they have felt negative real wage growth. Do not do that. Do not talk about that at all, okay? No matter what. Talk about civility, talk about institutions, and talk about defending those institutions. That's what I said to the campaign. That was me. That was me. That was my bad. I was like, please, no matter what you do, there are 35 polls that show that you are picking up at least 6 points if you change trajectory, if you separate yourself from Biden's Gaza policy. No matter what, do not do that. Do not separate yourself from Biden. I said in the last hour, I said, do not ever separate yourself from Biden. Go on The View. I said to Kamala Harris, I said, ma'am, Madam Vice President, you must go on The View and you must tell the American population that you are just like Joe Biden. I'm sorry. As a Democratic campaigner, I said all of those things and they listened. And now I'm here to say my bad. And it was really because at the same time, the Trump campaign's research found that up-for-grabs voters were about 6 times as likely as other battleground state voters to be motivated by their views of Israel, war, and Gaza. This is why Trump fans ramped up the anti-war rhetoric in the last few weeks of the campaign. And to me, I saw that, and I knew that because I was reading the polls that said, hey, you should say something about this. And I always said, don't you say a thing. Don't you say a thing about this, because that's bad. If you say a damn thing about Israel-Palestine that communicates that you understand the victims, the humanity of the victims in this circumstance, an objectively unpopular policy that the Biden administration has continued along with, despite the fact that 80% of Democrats, 70% of independents, and 54% of Republicans wanted a ceasefire. I told the campaign, don't do that. Lean in to the right-wing reactionary government of Benjamin Netanyahu. Lean into that. Bear hug him. Give him another $8 billion. That's what I said. It's my bad. I said, send John Fetterman over to Joe Rogan. Do that. Send the one guy in the Democratic Party's caucus that literally cannot communicate due to a disability that he has. Like him, hate him, doesn't matter. It's a format that requires you to speak. That's what I said. I was like, Tim Watts, you shut the fuck up. You shut your beautiful mouth, Tim Waltz. I don't want you anywhere near the Joe Rogan Experience. Bernie Sanders, go back to the back office. I don't want you anywhere near the Joe Rogan Experience. So if you guys didn't understand what I was doing there, I was responding to one chatter who said that, you know, I am the reason why the Democratic Party lost, and I gave you some of the reasons why the Democratic Party lost, assuming the position of a Democratic analyst, a Democratic campaign consultant. Now, of course, you could probably tell that I was being humorous in this situation. There's a lot of normies in here, so I wanted to, you know, make sure that you understand what my position is, make sure that I clarify. No Democratic campaign consultant would ever acknowledge or admit or apologize for their failures. They would never do that. So that's why you know it's a joke. Never in the history of the Democratic Party has a Democratic consultant gone out there and been like, my bad. Also, look at this dip. Now that the election is over, I think we can finally say that, yeah, actually, Project 2025 is the agenda, lol. Bro, I watch your streams a lot. When did you have time for all that? Disappointing. It's like you were snatching failure from the jaws of victory. Yeah. So if you want to know, I mean, Axios is already reporting Trump is going to begin operations to deport millions of undocumented immigrants when he starts his term. Campaign press secretary Caroline Leavitt said Wednesday morning he'll launch the largest mass deportation operation of undocumented immigrants on day one. It's Nazi time, and I cannot begin to explain to you how dire the situation is going to be. But before we get to what Donald Trump is going to do, let's talk about some of the failures, some of the glaringly obvious failures, because there's a lot that needs to be said. I know that immediately after this massive loss, the Democratic insiders, the rat themselves, went to the media and started talking about how it's the left that was the problem. It was the third-party voters that was the problem. The margins aren't there. If every third-party voter voted for the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris still would have lost. Do you understand me? I hate that this is yet another instance of I told you so, but the worst possible instance of I told you so. It sucks. It's hollow. It doesn't feel good. And hold on, you say you thought Harris would win the night before? Yeah, I did. I slightly favored Harris winning with an electoral college W in the blue wall as opposed to a general population, like a general election overall population victory for Donald Trump. I thought that Donald Trump was actually going to win the popular vote and Kamala Harris had a slight chance of winning the electoral college. And the reason why she lost the electoral college, and I said the only reason why it was a slight, very marginal chance for Kamala Harris, was because of the many failures of the campaign that I have been actively communicating for months and months. I've been screaming about this shit, and so have many others. But ultimately, everyone came in here and chirped and chirped and chirped and said, no, you don't understand. The ground game is great. Ground game is great. Ground game wins elections. It doesn't matter when the top line communications are bad. If the campaign doesn't have a good message, $30 million of ad spend in every swing district is not going to change it, okay? You can pump them filled to the brim with bad messages and bad campaign strategies. They're not going to respond positively to it, and the vote and the polls were right. They didn't respond to it. That's it. The polls were correct, and it's very frustrating because all of the unimaginable problems that we presented over and over again that so many people did not want to see were correct. I said consistently that Kamala Harris has a slight chance of victory, but overall her prospects are dire. I said over and over again that the reason why this race is even close, despite Trump's campaign being overall awful, which it is, and many people are going to tell you it was brilliant. Many people are going to tell you Trump was brilliant. He did a fantastic job. He did not. He did not do a fantastic job. Donald Trump lost votes from 2020. Kamala Harris lost a ton more votes from 2020. And that's it. Anyway, Americans were angry, okay? Americans were very angry, and the campaign, once again, did not respond to them at all. Time and time again, I said, here, I mean, I'm on the record on this. I'll show you. There's a couple different moments, but I think one of the most prescient moments is this one. It's what I said after the DNC. That's it. This is all it took. I can't do it. Every single reason why you were excited about Kamala Harris, beyond the fact that she was not a carcass, was literally the exact opposite of this mentality. This is old Democratic Party mentality. We're back. Good to be in business. This election is not in the bag at all. I've been warning you. Democrats are way too confident about the momentum that they got, the momentum that they experienced. That momentum came because the Democrats responded to public pressure. I'm
I'm sorry. You have to be the dumbest to be like, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she's gonna go to war with Iran because she's gonna stand up to America's enemy. You want to know why I know you don't think that that's a good speech? Because you're coping in the chat saying, well, it's not for me. Maybe it's for some other person. Maybe it's for the Trump guys that want to drop Trump, but just like need the extra My expectation coming into this speech was to see what Kamala Harris talks about when she's like spitballing and hope and change and joy. She had the opportunity to run a 2008 Obama. That's what I was expecting, even if it was fake. My expectation at the very least was that the couple moves that they were going to lead into a progressive messaging campaign. I'm sorry, the Democratic president should never, ever say we're going to have the most lethal army, the most lethal military in the world. You're supposed to be the counterbalance to fascist, jingoistic sentiment. You're supposed to at least aesthetically present yourself as the peaceful candidate, as the peaceful party. She went up there and went cop mode. It was shocking. She had all this progressive momentum, and now all she's got are the loyalists who are just begging for someone, not Biden.
This is the last night of the DNC. This is when I came to the unfortunate, rather sad conclusion that the Democrats were actually going to tack to the center and center right in an effort to pick apart moderate voters. And they did that. And I kept reiterating how bad of an idea that was and how this had not worked in the past in numerous conversations with academics, journalists, activists, and the like. I kept saying over and over again, this is a bad idea. This is not a good idea. This is a bad idea. And that it is a risky gambit for no reason. It is a risky gamble. And it's not going to work. It has never worked, and it probably won't work. It only kind of worked for Joe Biden in 2020, and that was likely a consequence of COVID. Here is another warning that I issued to the Democratic Party on that Newsweek article last October.
The Democratic Party has this profound skill in snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. It's an issue that they would not have had if they had leaned on where people were hurting and how they were going to help them. And they didn't do that. They went with a very conservative lean. The Democratic Party's like harm reduction strategy as a way to just like shame voters away from extracting concessions and just voting for the Democrats every single time without making any demands whatsoever, as they actively push a lot of people in the base of the party away. If you rely on that without offering things to people, well then you're inevitably shrinking your base. Whether Trump wins or loses, we are, and I mean this, living in Trump's America. Like, he might lose this election, and the Democratic Party will push Trump's 2020 agenda. That's what they're running on. That to me is crazy. That to me is genuinely terrifying to think about.
Yeah, but no, no. And it's not just that either. There was a bunch of other issues here, like in terms of youth turnout, the male youth vote. That is going to be something that a lot of people are going to be paying attention to. I sounded the alarm about right-wingers dominating the online space for young men. 47% of the 18 to 29-year-old men voted for Donald Trump this election cycle. The amount of right-wing radicalization that has been occurring, especially in younger male spaces. Everything is completely dominated by right-wing politics. If you're a dude under the age of 30 and you have any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out, whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, every single facet of that is just completely dominated by center-right to, I wouldn't say far right in the same way that it was back in like the 2016 era at the end of like Obama's administration, but like definitely center right to Trumpian right, like openly Trump right, not like genuinely neo-Nazi. Go back and re-examine the conversation I had with the Pod Johns. The Pod Johns are the most like permissible left-leaning people that you can have within the orbit of the Democratic Party versus someone who is completely outside of the influence, outside of the sphere of the Democratic Party. Compare that conversation, compare the notes, compare the warnings that I issued to the Pod Johns on the Crooked Media podcast that I was on, and you will understand why we failed. You will understand why the Democratic Party failed. You will understand what the Democratic Party has to do. They will not do it because obviously they are beholden to the same corporate benefactors, just as the Republican Party is. But the Republican Party gets away with being cruel. The Democratic Party still has to maintain the veneer that they are progressive, that they're supposed to be a counterbalance, that they're supposed to be a counterweight to the Republican creep towards fascism. That part is quieted down a little bit, but like they're like 90% of the way there for the most part. And that's it. Everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic, thought leaders, influencers that they subscribe to, and I think that that is some of the reason why you see this movement. The bro vote came through for Trump, 49 to 47. Yeah, 49% to 47%. I don't think people understand what this looks like. I don't think people understand what the future prospects look like for the Democratic Party, what the future looks like for this country. Meanwhile, on MSNBC, the progressive era has to end if the Democrats want to win again. They are tacking right again. It does not matter for them. They literally, as I told you, also correctly, they do not give a They do not care. They do not care about this defeat. They're using this to say, we didn't go far right enough. It's a 30-point shift to the right. Facts don't matter anymore. There's a whole generation of young people influenced by disinformation fed by influencers who are primarily right-wing. Other than you, there are no examples of relatable masculinity on the left for young people under 30. Yes, I am going to continue doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue getting mercilessly shit on by those psychopathic demons on the right that are capturing the attention of young men in general. It doesn't matter, though. This is not a cultural war that you can win just by doing podcasts. That's not, you can't do that. You have to still have a solid defense mechanism at the top that aligns with the interests of people like myself. If the Democratic Party still is running around being like, everything is fine, actually. I mean, oh my God, just vote for us. The institutions, we got to defend the institutions. While everyone is like, I don't give a fuck about the institutions, man. The price of bread is too high. The price of eggs is too high. Fuck you. I don't give a shit about your stupid civility. I want to blow it up is their mentality. You can't reach to them. You can't reach out to them. You can't communicate to them. There is a lot of ground to make up. The biggest lesson the 2024 campaign has don't matter. Studies agree, but the media space does. The right has content mills churning out brain dead slop. They're popular. They work. Them should plow through their massive wars in the progressive and liberal media. No, that's not the only problem here. That's not the only issue. It's not just that, like, they're not giving me enough money so I can dominate the podcast circuit or whatever. If their solution is to unleash 1 million Harry Sassans into the suburbs, they're still going to lose. They have to address the material harms that people are experiencing. If they don't do that, it doesn't matter. You can have every single TikTok twink out there running the gamut, talking about owning people in the marketplace of ideas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not just about dominating the communications field, okay? It's not just that. And I like some of those guys, but that's not the major issue. You cannot have a party that is ideologically committed to third-way neoliberalism, constantly tacking to the center right, constantly trying to re-triangulate as the Republican Party pulls the entire country towards fascism. You can't do that, because if one party's saying, we're going to do concentration camps and we want to kill migrants, and the other party's like, no, actually, we want to kill the migrants, but like in a gay way, people are going to be like, okay, I'm going to go with the migrant murder party instead. They've been there for years and years. I trust them more on this issue. Now the only thing you've done as the Democratic Party is you basically said it's normal. You've normalized that position now. Good job. Good job. All the while, the entire resentment towards migrants literally stems from nothing. It's not even real. It's not a real problem. There is no national security threat that migrants constitute in the United States of America. Undocumented immigrants are responsible for less crime per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens are. That's why it's so it's literally born out of a lie. It's just made up. It's just pure vitriolic racism. It's just misinformation. I think Trump has a chance of defeating Joe Biden, but worse than that, even if Joe Biden wins, I think we go back to business as usual politics here in America, and next time around, it's not going to be Donald Trump. It's actually going to be an ideologically minded fascist, not a proto-fascist who kind of succeeded
somehow and fooled Americans for long enough to get into a position of power, but an actual terrifying leader.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was wrong. It was Donald Trump, at least on that front. But it's Donald Trump who is the fascist. Go back long enough, you will find me accurately telling you exactly what the is going to happen. But do they not understand that you don't have close enough influence to sway the entire election? No, this is not about me. Like, the people that come in here and say you're responsible for this electoral defeat are just like delusional losers that are looking to place the finger of blame at anyone but the Democratic Party for some weird reason, okay?
And then just have a firm hand as I'm doing it. Ah, fuck. Alrighty.
Domination. Pacify the AO, kill team.
Oh, come on, here. It's like how bad of shots are some of my teammates? Ow! Ooh, man, my teammates are doing nothing but dying. My teammates are just nowhere to be found. What is my team doing? How? I'm almost done with this game.
1.7 billion were there for his birth. 220 countries tuned in for his first step. An entire human life recorded on an intricate network of hidden cameras and broadcast live 7 days a week to an audience around the globe.
Keep it now.
This is a breaking banquet video. Am I gonna play more Battlefield 5? No. Like, why is this guy sitting here, man? Okay, it's like now I'm like 0-2. Let's see, Jordan, you see Elon's net worth went up 20 billion last night. That's crazy because Elon's net worth is all speculative. Like that's all I say. Like Elon's net worth is speculative. Like speculative wealth can disappear as fast as it appears. It's all fake money. You play campaign race, so I'm getting advice you know nothing about. You're welcome. Let's see, bro. You're such a hater saying he'll be broke in 5 years to 62 IQ. All right, maybe I'll be wrong. I doubt it. Damn it. I'd rather just play by myself, honestly. Like, I hate when a bunch of people join the game because it makes it so, like, I never get any kills because the way I play. Oh, that was yours. Oh, come on!
We're losing Charlie.
Come on. Somebody please finish him off. Like, I feel like I should be 4-3 at least. Look at that 1-4. It's like it's so easy. It's not like I'm getting outplayed. I'm just getting out positioned.
Taking B.
I hate the matchmaking in this game. Like why does it? It is what it is. See, two people behind me.
Bravo is ours.
I'm waiting on one of them to take the lead here. Dude, right through the hole I was looking at. Wow, that guy moved so quickly. Like I hate that.
Claim the advantage. Now hold it.
That I wish they would have like standard avatars and not everybody had to pick their avatar. It's sometimes it gets sometimes.
Okay, it's going off.
It sometimes gets to the point where it makes it hard to you know what I'm saying? It's like, what is that, man?
Securing zone A.
Dude, the assault rifles are just so good that you can't even hope to beat them. Can't even hope to beat them. You either hope you don't run into a shotgun or you hope you don't run into a rifle. Submachine guns can't beat the shotguns, but they also can't beat the assault rifles at anything other than close range. It's like right now, like look at this match. It's a blowout. Like this is why I don't believe skill-based matchmaking even fucking exists. Like I know it puts some level. Like I was destined to lose that game by the time the game came out. Like that's the kind of shit.
I don't get
Taking Bravo
players at all. I don't get it. I'm old, but I'm not an old Call of Duty. I only started when I was 4.
Controlling Bravo.
Which is like most JR games. Incredibly underrated.
Bravo zone secure.
But Treyarch is by far the best developer.
We lost C.
Studio sphere. But I don't get old school COD players.
Objective capture underway. Locking down Charlie.
Because I go back to old COD games and it's not as good. I'm sorry. Whatever nostalgia glasses like the old school COD players fucking wearing.
Dig in and
Yeah,
hold
the
them.
old CODs compared to the new CODs,
We're losing Charlie.
specifically after
Enemy
Modern
napalm
Warfare
strike
2,
incoming.
even Vanguard and shit. Actually, and everything after 2019. When 2019 was fantastic.
Losing Bravo.
Maps weren't great, but the movement, and it started like a whole new,
Deploying Archangel.
like
Bravo lost.
a whole new era of Call of Duty, essentially. And like the old movement was out. New movement was in. And you know, I'm
We're losing
old movement
Alpha.
sucked. I don't give a shit. No one fucking says.
Lost A. Attack on.
Old Call of
Requesting
Duty's
recon overhead.
bad.
Scout pulse.
They don't feel good. The older it gets, the
Taking
worse
A.
it feels. I'm sorry if everyone's going, BlackOps 2 is the
Losing
greatest
B.
Call of Duty ever. It's like, I don't even want to
Securing
try
C.
it. Guaranteed it feels like shit. Can you even slide? I don't know. I don't think you can. You might be able to. I don't know. I might be speaking out of turn, but like the movement's my favorite part of Call of Duty, dude. The fact that I can be like, shit.
We're losing Charlie.
I love it, dude. It feels great. It's fun. And it makes you feel like a super soldier. Having this like nerfed, you mean like in any way? It's like it was nerfed
Good
in
effect. I'm on the objective.
2022. It makes any nerfing of the movement in Call of Duty, in my opinion, makes the Call of Duty
Securing zone
worse.
A.
Because it makes it fun, it gives it a skill gap, makes it fast, and exciting. Slow, no skill gap, boring,
Hostile
not
RCXD
fun.
in your AO.
Goddamn. A chore. It was a chore to do the camel grind in Modern Warfare 2 2022. And instead of making the entire community pay $70 again for the game we should have got 2022. Like we should have got what we got in 2022. That's what I was expecting, to be honest. Because after 2019, the movie was great in 2019. I was not expecting that nerf to the 2022. It was awful. God awful. I remember like after my first match, I like texted my friend, like sliding is pointless and you kill it. Because that's what it was. Awful. You slid and like if you like timing was off or like if your like gun was empty or anything, it doesn't matter. Anything that happened after you started sliding, the slow slide, and once you started sliding, you couldn't do anything, like nothing. Sliding was suicide. I was definitely hopping as much as
They're taking
hopping
C.
around. Play at least the play was decent. It didn't fuck up that at all, but like the movement was just like until like the very end, until like the end of the game cycle, like just boost, just that little boost to movement, just a smidgen. It was like a world of difference.
Losing
I
A.
can- Infinity Awards. I don't give a. I don't know why the COD community wants to fucking eat the ass, fucking Infinity Award. Because like, they just don't listen. They refuse. They like, no, you don't want. We'll tell you what you want. You don't tell us what you. Shut the fuck up. And like, In any situation, telling someone to shut the fuck up is totally bad. You're not gonna like it. You're going to. But okay, what I was saying before was that like instead of charging us $70 Modern Warfare 3, they should have just given it to us for free. They should have brought all the maps from Modern Warfare 2 into the new movement system, every single one, and apologized for 2022 being such dog shit. That's what they should have did instead of charging us another $70 for the game we should have got a year ago. But like, Sledgehammer, who is also incredibly underrated as a developer, I'm sorry. They like where they live in the shadow. They're always cleaning up fucking Infinity Ward's bullshit. It seems like. And like, Sledgehammer really listens to the community. That was proven in 2023. Like, I'm still through was fantastic. And it was just, it could have been like received and appreciated so much more. It would have been considered one of the greatest Call of Duties all time. One, it wasn't like on the heels and just basically a fixed version of the dog shit game we got before. The campaign, everyone hated the campaign. That was not a full price campaign. You can tell that was, at the end of the day, it should have been DLC. And in fact, Modern Warfare 2 was so bad, it should have been fucking free DLC. Free year 2, you get every fucking Modern Warfare 2 map. Shit is, you know what, like, you'd be worshipped by the community. And they'd be buying bundles. They'll be just ready to go to, well, I mean, not like they weren't ready to go to buy BlackOps 6, but even more so, but BlackOps 6 is here. But honestly, the best thing to come out of Modern Warfare 2 2022, XDefiant. XDefiant is a great game, and I will continue to play it. I wish them, like, not like more than just luck. I wish them success. Because it's a good game. People shit on it because they're morons. It's a good game. It feels really good. And especially for like these so-called old school COD players, it really seems like a peacefully stripped down Call of Duty, like in the best way possible. Like it's like the cleanest game. I love playing XDefiant because it feels clean. I mean, Call of Duty's great, but like it gets a little chaotic, a little crazy. And in some of the games, see. But XDefiant's like, you can see everything. And the gunplay is challenging but satisfying. So people who shit on XDefiant are like, they're just, I don't know. I watch a lot of Big Fry. I like Big Fry. He's funny, but like his taste in games to me is just like dog shit. He likes boring games. Like he I don't understand people who want to feel realistic in a video game. I'm not in video games for realism. I've got reality for realism all day long. I want to fly through the air, jump in, spinning, having a good time. Not like tactically walking through something that you can barely see. You get no information on the screen. It feels so real. It's like, reality kind of sucks. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. Fantasy is fun. That's, for me, that's the point.
Secure the objective.
Yeah, but that's what, and it's like, it's whatever. Shut up.
Hardpoint is secure.
Back on the video.
Take the lead. Stay on task.
That'd been super funny if I was like talking this time and then like this.
shit that makes me quit playing Call of Duty. Like it's so it's like it's not even like his Black Ops 3 where like the kill streaks are fun to get. Kill streaks suck. Like I don't give a fuck if I get them half.
It's really fun though. That Jordy Gordon. No matter what, like even his name, Wings of Redemption, reminds me of
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
The time.
Hardpoint
Go ahead, ban steps, please.
Hardpoint is
Thank
secure.
you. As always, guys, negative interactions have to be on the back of a $10 bill, and no mentioning of troll channels. If you want to mention the troll channel, I'm gonna be back on 50. Like my hip is hurting me right now from like
troll channels. Shout out Sean Ranklin. Shout out Breaking Banquet, of course, is what we're watching now. There used to be Wang Fangs. There was what was one I was
Hostiles attacked with the
big one
hardpoint.
back in the day. I haven't seen
Ground
shit.
turret established.
I have no
Hardpoint is secure.
it's gonna
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
hooligans, the hooligan, what is it?
Hardpoint located.
Anyway, I you know what I'm talking about. This is
recording like the video for lolcow Friday, but that's just me being an old man. Like I'm gonna have to have a hip replacement at some point in my life. It is what it is. Like Skyline's one of these maps that's like, I'm trying to learn how to utilize this back corner because there's a lot of good angles on this back corner.
Watch him die.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
Oh my god, it's 10 fucking year, nothing's happening. Great, yeah, great corners.
I need eyes overhead.
No, we're getting no traffic. Here's where I die at.
Hardpoint locked down.
It's so funny that like
Hardpoint
this
identified.
can't be. Like he's actually like
Hostiles have
his
captured the
large
hardpoint.
body can just be stationary.
Hardpoint active.
But like you know you can run in this game and it doesn't make you lose your breath, right? Like I love the fact that like
Hardpoint is secure.
I mean I've got a friend like I've been trying like you know I love Call of Duty. I'm always like you know saying that I like Call of Duty in the most obnoxious way possible. And I've got this one friend, like, bro, let's go paintballing. Let's
Hostiles have the
let's
hardpoint.
get in a car and drive really far away to some fucking middle of nowhere place and spend as much money as possible with get like real life pellets and it's not even real guns, they're just pellet guns, but
Hardpoint located.
it's still gonna be costly. It's like run around, like literally running or walking. IRL. Let's go paintball. And I was like, no. Why the hell would I do that? When I've got Call of Duty.
Hardpoint locked down.
I don't gotta go. I'm at home. I'm chilling. I'm getting all kinds of stuff off. I'm eating food. And I'm having probably more fun than I would be having if I was like some fucking strangers out in some weird field, like outside of the city, like pretending I'm fucking playing board games and shit. Why? You know, it boggles my mind that some people are so scared to play video games that they're willing to like
Hardpoint identified.
do shit like extra paintballing so they don't have to like pull the controller. It's like having eye hand coordination in the lane and just suck at everything. If you suck at Call of Duty, I'm sorry, you just suck at everything.
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
I want to get good at life. Is something twitchy. Is something that's gonna test your motor skills like that.
Not this time, you son of a
You know, man. The reason why I survived in this world is my response time that I've developed, sharpened, call it.
Hardpoint is secure.
This is how old people get old. Don't play Call of Duty and their minds get slow. You gotta stay fast.
Hardpoint located.
Bring mine going out.
Despite that he's an old pervert and violence, speed, momentum.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have captured the
The older you
hardpoint.
get, the more you need it. Because if you don't
Hardpoint
keep
locked
up,
down.
when you're older, you're
Destroyed
more
power turret. Hostiles have the
gotta
hardpoint.
use it or lose it, kids. You got it easy now, but you should start now. Taking care of yourself. Because I mean, you can get away with it when you're young. The second you like turn 30, 35, it's a goodbye, dude. You better start taking care of yourself. You're gonna start feeling real dog shit. You're gonna be slow, cheap. And you're not gonna be able to keep up with stuff, and you're gonna be tired all the time.
Hardpoint locked down.
I
Hardpoint
refuse.
identified.
Or they have kids and they just like use them. So
Hardpoint is secure.
that's probably one of the reasons why I don't like
Hardpoint active.
hate my life. Children are the worst.
Neutralized.
I never want them. People are like, kids are the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Well, you cope and you fucking life sucks.
Hardpoint locked down.
And you give all your money to these little fucking versions of you that just don't even like you. Think you suck. Think you're lame.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Will steal from you essentially. Like, yeah, whatever, dude. And like, because like I get it though. Because parents hate their kid. I mean, adults hate the kid. Kids hate the adults. Everyone hates each other. Why the fuck would you? Why would you? Bring that into your life for irritation.
Activating scout pulse.
And maybe I'm projecting.
Hardpoint is active.
More than likely.
Hardpoint is secure.
But still, if I had kids, I would the top of the John Hancock building and jump off that building. You.
Here's where I run away from. Oh, come on. And then they spawn over there. That's part of course.
Ramming Semtex.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint identified. Enemy UAV inbound. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint is secure.
Dude, let's see this. That's so wild. Okay.
Hostiles have captured the
What's up
hardpoint.
with the pre-stems? Because I have enough trouble as it is getting traffic, so at least appearing on the map might give me more traffic.
Hardpoint locked down.
Like straight up, Wings is just a lazy player. Who likes to play like you have a
Hardpoint located.
your mind is dumb and slow. You like to play Call of Duty. I'll show you. I'm in some back ass corner.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Got some good angles here.
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the
I
hard
bet you if I
point.
stay here for a while. That sucks. Who the fuck? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey now. Hey now. Oh, whoa, whoa. I like. What the shit, ball? I like to move. Like, it's not hard to move. All you gotta do is move your thumbs. Gotta just try to push up a little. That's it. Just, like not even like half an inch. Here, like you don't have to. Your thumb. Well, my thumb's really tired, so like I'm just gonna relax and just. Why is your thumb tired? Why does your thumb get tired from just slightly doing something? Give me a little plastic stick. Not anything. Oh, that's dope. I'm just gonna sit here. Very still, and have the most boring game you can possibly have. Because if you're just gonna sit there, I'm sorry, you're not gonna see a lot of action. Just being a rat. But if you're running around looking for a fight, chance to test your skills.
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Got outgunned. It's okay. We went down. Dude, why can't I do my pulse? Scout pulse. Dude, I think that did. Damn it. Starting to think that the streaks might be a little glitched.
Hard point located.
Because I have. Is the airspace just too? Oh, dude.
Hard point is active. Hard point locked down.
Yeah, Betty. Ooh. Why can't I?
Move out.
They never stood a chance.
We still won.
Proceed to extract Crimson.
The battle goes to the bold.
Damn, dude, all that flinch. I want to pick on people without sniper rifle. Oh. No chance. Dude, door 8.
Damn it, Crimson, that's
Yeah, I don't care about the more realistic feeling. It makes it mess your aim up. By the way, banned non-anorexia. Like he shouldn't be in my chat. Like, dude, just move on with your life. Nah, dudes, don't be ripping him. Like he's the type of dude. He's the type of dude that tries to mess with real life. Like he's the type of dude that sits sits around and do the. Is KD all you got, Mr. V? I mean, my KD's not even that great. I mean, I play TDM. TDM is the best way to play TDM is to get weapon spread. I mean, kill to death spread. Anybody that tells you different just doesn't play the game. Dude, that was terrible. Oh, I thought I had the automatic pistol on. No. It's gonna go for me the problem is when you play with a bunch of players in TDM, like you can't get any kills whatsoever unless you're constantly rushing around. And I don't like playing that play style. Like I like to chill out in Call of Duty. Like places. Where? It's like, dude, they're all on top of you. It's like, it's ridiculous. And I know why it happens too. It's bullshit.
Shoot to kill.
Like they just, they're just all running.
Hostiles have the hard point.
Really, dude, like I don't understand it. Like, why are they sitting level 1s in my fucking game?
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Like you see that mess, right?
Hard
You
point
see
locked
this?
down.
I don't know.
Hostiles have the hard point.
remember, all Bendy Wendy alls need to be banned on site. They're obvious. Like Kelly's preacher should be banned too. Like, come on, dude. Like, we should not understand this. None of my personal life, dudes.
Destination marked. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint is secure.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna quit playing this game well before I get Dark Matter. I'll probably quit playing this game well before I get Dark Matter. No, John Doe, you don't gotta watch, man. It's the thing. Like, people want me to play Call of Duty. I don't know why. Like,
you're gonna go back to
people
Rainbow.
show up in droves to watch me get mad
You
at
suck
Call
at
of
that
Duty.
game too,
But, like,
bro.
if I go play like Diablo 2, where I can actually talk to people and interact with people, nobody shows up. You know, so it is what it is. It's like, because the way I play Call of Duty, I have to like constantly be thinking about.
Wings is the weirdest motherfucker.
Hardpoint locked
Like,
down.
he's just he refuses to like he could be like a really cool bro. He could be
Hostiles have
super
the
cool.
hardpoint.
There's like things he's like holding on to, and like it's pride. It's like it's narcissism. It's strange, but
Stay down.
like he is plastic narcissist. Like, he doesn't think he can do anything wrong.
Hardpoint is active.
Essentially,
Hardpoint is secure.
like nothing's his fault. He had just an ounce of humility. I would just be like, let shit go. In general. Would actually probably be super cool. Whether he was good at Call of Duty or not, it'd still be cool. You ain't gotta be good at Call of Duty. Cool. That's all I know. I haven't. What do you?
Out like enemy position. How do you know, man? Dude, the assault rifles are so good in this game. It is ridiculous. Like, look at this. I'm dead before I even had a chance.
Hardpoint active.
I'll go and ban John Sanders, please. Dude, I hate players that do that, dude. Like, it's like, all right, you got yourself in a bad position. Let's Zelda bomb back. So frustrating. So frustrating.
Hardpoint located.
It's not that lobby was too hard. I just didn't want to play the map. Like, it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't like the way Rewind plays, right? Because like I know how people run it, right? Like, they either spawn in that back alley near the dumpster, or they spawn near the little Toyota truck, and they constantly run either toward the middle or toward the burger place. And like, it gets to the point where it's like there's just so many openings, and it's just not a fun experience. Like, one thing that I feel like Call of Duty has lost, at least for me, is it lost like the enjoyable, like, relaxing play. Like,
Relaxing play. There it is. Relaxing, aka lazy play. Where you can just be lazy. Because he's lazy. And like, not even like just physically, but like to want to camp in a video game, you're like mentally lazy. Which is inexcusable for anyone. In my opinion. Because I mean, this is a super hot take, and I might be wrong, and I will accept it if I'm wrong, but
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
there's literally zero excuse for
Hardpoint locked down.
mental laziness. Like, zero.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
And like, I don't really believe that some people are smarter than others. I think our quest for knowledge is based mostly on interest. If you're really interested in something and you put all yourself into like learning about it, you will be smart about that thing. You could be like considered like a not conventionally intelligent person, but there's like one thing pretty much no matter who you are, that you're very smart about whether how useful it is or dumb or unuseful it is. It's varies obviously, but everyone is smart at whatever they're interested in, or whatever they think is good. If they don't have any interests, it might not be good. Because in my opinion, interest is like the secret ingredient for selling at something. If you like something, you're gonna put your all into it. You know? But if you're mentally lazy and just like don't want to have to work your head, which like is like, it's gotta be a fraction of the energy you need when you're doing physical activity. I get being physically lazy because physical work is fucking hard. Mental work, you think it's hard. It's like you should do both. You should like, you know, because the mind, I mean, as long as outside of like actual need for sleep and stuff like that, the brain should be working 110 like all the time.
Hardpoint identified.
I mean, unless like, I mean, of course, like there's circumstances like do a lot of thinking. There's emotional situations sometimes where it's like, you know, you get exhausted mentally. Like a lot of people are kind of like introverted kind of tendencies where like they feel like being around people is like draining, or they're like depressed. That shit makes a lot of sense. But like if you're looking for an activity that, I don't, Call of Duty just seems like the wrong activity. Like, not have to really do anything. I don't know. Like, go fishing, bro. You want to just sit around and chill? Or if you want to do that in the context of a video game, just fucking Stardew Valley, bro. Get some Minecraft.
We are fucking fucked. Escaping the
Call of Duty though, man. Like, this is why he's like falling off, because no one wants to watch somebody just unless they're GG Reloaded and like they make camping funny. Yeah, by the way, I miss GG Reloaded, even though he was kind of gave me a little bigoted, little right wing. I might be wrong though. But besides that, hilarious. Loved his videos. I love when he troll people and get people just raging over him camping and just talking shit. It was great. But Jordy's just gonna sit there and camp. No one else wants that, man. Especially now when you like actually like move around and make some action. Have a little fun. Anyway. Is anything I'm saying even worth anything? I don't know. Probably not.
Every map is like.
We're gonna rock some Rum Brown.
See what people are saying. The toilet. Are you there? Hello? Toilet.
Oh.
Whoa.
Hey. Oh my God. Wow. I'm literally just starting your live stream. What's up?
Okay.
It's Bilbo.
What's up, toilet? What's on your mind?
Just call me Michael. It's fine, Michael.
Michael, welcome to the fun.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm all right.
I should join RM's Discord because this is funny, and I think I would make him laugh. I would try to make him laugh with funny stuff.
Say this again.
Flight home.
Say this again.
I said flight home was okay.
Flight home was okay. There was a baby crying the whole time.
Oh Jesus, sorry. That's
Very
terrible.
common. I looked at the parent and I said, "Hey, tell that baby to shut the hell up." I said that like so the baby could hear it too.
Next time, I'm gonna join RM's Patreon for two measly little bones and get the
let me take you off
get the Wednesday show and the Tuesday and Thursday shows in the book club.
Whoa.
Wait.
In the
it's getting
get your name on the
situation over there. What's your name, Mara?
Farah. Yeah, we were actually on your stream like maybe 6 months ago, like on call, and you asked us about if we were having
The lead is on.
RM Brown baby.
Wedding baby.
Yeah. We're actually gonna name our son Ladrom.
Ooh, good name. Ladron.
Shut up.
Great name. Great name. That baby's gonna have a great time in elementary school with that name. Ladron. What's that?
I said nice punch ring.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. What else is going on with you guys? Give us some updates.
Should we be honest or should we not be honest?
Yeah, be
all right.
Be real.
You want to hear like a 6'5" crow out like crying.
Nobody. Let's hear it. What's on your mind?
You're a little baby.
So I live, New York, Queens. I work in Brooklyn, sometimes alone in the town
Mm-hmm.
Going on,
okay.
Give us pizza! I just gotta say, the amount of, sorry if I get a little emotional, but the amount of women, LGBTQ+, people I've had to console and try to it's not even about making them feel better. It's like they're fucking pissed, sad, and it's just like then just let them vent and just be like, I'm fucking angry and okay, can you stop fucking calling these names, bro, please? This is you're pulling out 2 vapes back to back.
Yeah, I got triple vape today. I'm going.
I was wondering if you were gonna start the stream and just be like, just because of everything going on, you would just be holding a cigarette, just to mix it up.
That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea. Smoking on stream indoors in a place I'm renting. That's a great idea. All right. Well, it sounds like you're being a supportive. You guys are being supportive to people who are calling and texting you. That's good. Will you keep us updated on this baby? How's the baby so far? You like it, or are you kind of like, I don't know about this thing.
That was a joke.
Oh, you're not really having a baby. No baby yet.
Your ass.
Okay. All right. I don't really know what's going on. I thought there was a baby involved. I thought there was a.
You're a little baby.
Involved. Let's see. I think we got dip. We got a breaking story.
His ass better get missing.
I'm a perfectly stable individual.
I'm having a hard time.
We got a breaking story.
Clouds also rising. Watch the
In the West Country, authorities are searching for dozens of missing primates that escaped last night. 43 animals, in fact, escaped from the Alpha Genesis facility in Yamasee. That's where they're used for biomedical research. Beaufort County law enforcement says they do have eyes on the rhesus macaque monkeys. They're trying to entice them back with food. Back in 2020, the facility was awarded $4.5 million in research for a COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay.
People in that
They
area are
escaped.
urged to keep their doors and windows closed to prevent these animals from getting in.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. What's that mute? That music's intense. Jeez. Okay. Guys, this is kind of a special thing, but we actually, I don't know how we did this, but we got one of these monkeys. Is he on? There he is. There he is. His thing's not properly. Let's fix that. There we go.
You're a little baby.
Monkey, are you on the line?
Yeah, hey, hold on.
Hold on, can you hear me now?
Yeah, your voice sounds better now.
Okay, great. Yeah, what's going on now?
You sound like Grimes, actually.
No, I don't. Anyway, yeah, we escaped.
Okay, so you guys escaped something. What's going on? What's that like? Why did you escape?
Oh, well, we have sort of a plan. I think we're actually gonna can I pitch this plan to you?
Okay, well, at least you have a plan. You escaped this facility. What's you guys' plan?
We're actually just gonna pretend to be guys, I think, because we kind of look like guys. Is that true or false in your mind?
In my mind, yeah, it seems that you do look like little guys.
Yeah, so I think we're just gonna like wear little jeans. I'm trying to get a job, maybe at like I don't know, Coldstone or something. Using Archangel. We can eat some of that. I think they have raisins there. We really like raisins.
Yeah, why do you guys like raisins so much?
I'm saying they're not good.
No, they're good. They're good.
What about craisins?
Yeah, that's like a cranberry raisin.
Oh my god, I love those. So yeah, I'm trying to find a place to work where I can have access to craisins. So that's our plan. Wear little jeans and try to get a job with craisins.
It sounds pretty good. Sounds like a good plan.
Shut up. You don't think sarcastic?
No, I think it's gonna work.
Oh my, did you just drop something? It sounded like you just dropped something.
Yeah.
Mission goals agreed.
Hold on.
Dispatching team to lock up survivors.
Mission areas and they say we're stupid.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, anyway, Monkey, good luck on trying to be a guy, trying to appear as though you're a guy and get a job at like a place.
Again, I'm sensing a lot of sarcasm. Have you seen? We are aggressive. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, like people try to have you as pets and it goes wrong all the time.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. Play the boom sound.
Okay, hold on. Where is it?
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get a few of those if you don't shut up, you moron.
Okay, there we go. Well, Monkey, one of the monkeys that escaped wherever the hell that is. Fascinating. Fascinating story. Let's take another call. Why not? Who do we got? Feeny. Feeny, are you there? Feeny, are you there?
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Okay. It's a very common thing that we do on the stream. People just don't do it. They go, Bill, are you there? Bill, are you there? We got Bill live.
The wind burned her a little bit in the pool.
Sniffing. No, and then Bill dragged himself out. This is what we do. Roasty, are you there? Oh, goddamn, you guys tell.
What?
Oh, Roasty, what's going on?
Oh, you know, just living in existential terror over here.
Oh my God. I feel you, Roasty. Well, to lighten the mood, do you want to, we have that, I think that monkey's still on the line. Do you have any monkey related questions you might want to ask?
Well, I just want to tell that monkey, stay out of Coldstone because some of us need those good crazy jobs and these monkeys are out here trying to steal our jarbs.
Oh, so you're doing sort of an anti-monkey kind of thing.
That's sick.
Yeah, monkeys, they need to go back to the zoo.
Hey, tell that guy to shut up.
Yeah, the monkey says you should shut up for a sec. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, hey,
yeah, he's probably right. He's probably right.
Yeah, you're spreading a lie, and there's enough craisins for everybody, including the monkeys that wear little jeans like me. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. I think it's gonna be fine. It would be fun to go into like an ice cream place, and there's actually, I think that would be an amazing business idea. Just like an ice cream place run by monkeys. What do you think?
I would eat there. Yeah, for sure.
It'd just be fascinating to see what you end up with. You know, I think how much do you want to invest in this business idea?
I'm in too.
Okay, monkey's in too.
Well, I don't know. Might be saving up to leave the country, so who knows?
All right. Where are you gonna go, Roasty?
I don't know.
Somewhere else. All right. All right, Roasty.
I did have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not a fun one though.
Okay.
What's your opinion on like all these people who are like, you know, oh, it's just a difference of opinion with the voting and all that stuff, and you shouldn't like distance yourself from these people who voted for Trump, and you know, that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, I think people are, you know, I'm seeing a lot of videos and a lot of like social media posts where people are trying to do like a post-mortem on what happened. We're gonna watch like Bernard Saunders, you know this guy Bernard Saunders?
No, never heard of that guy.
You're a moron. Okay, we're gonna check out what he has to say. But yeah, people are still trying to figure out exactly what happened. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna watch a Richard Wolf thing too. You know, his analysis is obviously very, you know, economic based and all this stuff. But I don't know. Do you have like family who you're in conflict with or something like that?
Huh? Well, I mean, I don't know if it might sound stupid, but like, I left my D&D group because some of them were Trump voters, and I have like, you know, friends who were at some point illegal immigrants. I have friends who are trans. I have friends who are gay. You know, all of the marginal groups, disabilities, and you know, they voted to hurt my friends. Right. And personally, I don't feel like it's unfair to say like, yeah, I don't want to hang out with you guys and anymore. But I don't know. Some people think that that's not reasonable, and I don't get it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think we're at a point now where people are starting to, you know, I think if you're really paying attention to this, it's sort of like, I don't know, it just seems like such a dead end. You know, it's weird that, it almost feels weird. I mean, there was a big media push, like all the Joe Rogan stuff and all that. Maybe that got some people interested in it, but it just seems like, I don't know, that people are gonna have to get like political in their real lives for this like deadlock to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just all a huge bummer.
But Roasty, I'm so sorry about your D&D. So you're getting into all kind of conflict in your D&D group.
Oh yeah, big time.
You were knocking over the pieces and stuff.
Oh yeah, I smashed their miniatures.
Smashed an elf. You threw an elf at somebody.
Oh yeah, that elf was gone.
Okay, wow.
And then I burned it.
Oh, whoa. Okay, a country divided. Elves are being thrown. Dungeon masters are getting all pissed off. Wow. It's sick. Maybe we should look at this. Let's see what Bernard. Let's look at the Bernard.
TACOM, I need eyes overhead.
Talking about this. What the hell?
Take a Bravo underway.
Does his ass have to say? Let's check this fool out.
We're losing Alpha.
Okay, this is not positioned correctly. News. Okay, shut this.
On it. Keep those Crimson bastards off me.
News. Bernard Sandorino. Statement on the result of the presidential crap.
We're losing Alpha.
What does he say here? It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party that has abandoned working class people would find the working class has abandoned them. First it was the white working class, and now it is Latino and black workers as well. The Democratic leadership defends the status quo. The American people are angry and want change, and they're right.
TACOM, launching UAV.
Today, while the very rich are doing phenomenally well, 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That is crazy. More income and wealth inequality than ever before. Unbelievably real inflation. Yada, yada, yada. On and on. Bernard Saunders, reporting live. Today, despite spending far more per capita than any other country, we remain the only wealthy nation not to guarantee health care. Today, despite a strong opposition from the majority of Americans, we continue spending Netanyahu.
We've taken control.
Individual interests in wealthy consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign. Bernard Saunders. Do they have any ideas on how we can take on this increasingly powerful oligarchy? So Bernard Saunders with some real talk out here. There he is. What do you guys think? Let's hear from y'all. I can't read these people's names. R something. Are you there? Wait, let's read this.
They're taking C.
I voted muscular class on Tuesday. God damn you. Wrote in. Did you write me in? Did you write in Ladron? I wonder how many people wrote in Ladron. Yes, it's you. What's going on?
Oh, you know, hanging in there, trying to not go crazy. How about you?
Same. Same. Are you you sound very calm.
I had a nap. I had a nap today, so I don't know. I've kind of gotten all of my like bawling and sobbing out. I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm also in Texas, and I'm very
Zone Alpha Cat. Triggering
concerned about our state and local politicians becoming even more emboldened under a second Trump administration.
Yeah, we got some crazies over here. We got some crazies
real
out
weirdos.
here. Yeah.
Real weirdos calling the shots.
Enemy is down.
Yeah, you know, there's also the surveillance thing in Texas is creeping me out too. I did a video on that. If you want to check that out, that's something to watch. But I don't know. You thinking about getting out of Texas, or what's your opinion?
I mean, I've wanted to get out of Texas for a while now. I just don't really have the means at the moment to do so.
Can you say what part of Texas you're in, or do you want to keep
DFW?
Take a B.
Where?
DFW.
DF-dub.
Yeah. I really wanted to go to the show in Denton. I was very stoked about that, but I could not scrape together the $25 for a ticket.
Oh, you should have. I would have got you in.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's good. I had to work.
DM me. I'm gonna do a show in Austin in February. If you want to come, I'll get you here.
Dude, that would be rad. I will DM you. I'll DM you about that.
DM me. Say, DM me on Twitter. How about that?
I don't have that. Insta?
Okay. Insta, yes. No, Insta, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want
I'll DM.
To lighten the mood, do you want to ask the monkey a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Feel free.
Something like that. Craisins or Qurans?
Oh my God. You're speaking my language here. When I'm thinking, I do this. Let me think. Qurans or... How could I possibly make that decision?
Yeah, that's a tough... For a monkey, that's nearly impossible. I mean, if you put... I feel like they would go crazy if you put those like on two sides and they had to choose one.
Oh my God. Oh my... Can I say both? Is that allowed?
Can he say both?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Sí, dos para mí. Sí, good, great, thank you.
Okay, great. Wow. Could you imagine how difficult a choice that would be for this monkey?
So crazy.
I would probably go Quran. They're pretty good.
They are.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me on, RM, and catch you later.
Okay, yeah, DM me. I'll get you to Austin by any means necessary. Bye-bye. On Instagram.